Welcome back. We're going to get straight into our prophecy pearls. Today we're going to talk about the conflict. Okay, that's between God and money. And there's a lot of ways that money snares us and causes us to disobey the Lord. And maybe you don't think you're disobeying the Lord, but let's go over some of these things and let's see. Now, several things I have noticed about the lure of money. It causes people to do things that they wouldn't normally do. It causes people to be willing to violate God's word when they wouldn't otherwise. Okay? Now, maybe you don't think that applies to you, but we'll see. It applies to a lot of people, okay? We get caught up in these snares and we don't realize it. One situation is like food benefits that come through the government. There are many people collecting food benefits who just use them to supplement their income. They can buy their own food. They don't want to, because then that leaves them without any money to go to the movies and go on vacation and that kind of thing. Too many people are using these government benefits just to supplement their income. They're not destitute. And that's who those are for. Okay? That's who those are for. People are always wanting to sue someone. Nobody wants to work for a living for some reason. They want to jump and pounce upon any wrong that is done to them in any way and take it to its furthest extent, turn it into a huge big deal to try to sue and collect from someone who made a mistake that they were involved in. And that their purpose is to collect money so they don't have to work, so they can go on vacation or buy a boat or whatever. Doing business dishonestly. Many times, businesses are ripping people off these days. Especially these big companies that you can't ever get anybody on the phone who's in charge. Nobody's in charge. It's like nobody's in charge, okay? They rip you off and then leave you with nobody to fix it for you. They put these poor little teenage employees in front of you who are going, I just work here. I don't know. I can't help you. I don't make the rules. Okay. And you don't want to go off on them. It's not their fault. But that's purposeful manipulation. That's how they keep you from going ballistic on them. It's sticking somebody in your face who's basically innocent and can't help you and sits there and says, I wish I could help you. I really do. I have no authority to do so. You just get the runaround. Collecting benefits dishonestly. Okay? If you're collecting benefits, but if they knew all the truth of your qualifications, you probably wouldn't qualify anymore, then you're collecting them dishonestly. Okay? If you were collecting them and then you got a job, but you're still struggling, so you don't want to let them go yet, you're still compromising yourself. Okay? Don't let them control you like that. There are situations where couples don't get married because both collect some kind of government benefit that they will lose if they marry. Well, in a situation like that, you're looking at, well, if we get married to please God, they're going to cut our benefits off. How are we going to live? But if we just live together and have kids and just kind of bypass marriage, then we'll still get to collect. You're choosing the money over God. That's what you're doing. You're choosing with your eyes wide open to defy God's commandments and not marry, because you don't want to lose your government benefits. You have to weigh things and say, instead of saying, well, if I get married, I'll lose my government benefits. No, that's not what you need to be saying to yourself. You need to be saying, if I don't get married, I'm defiant of the creator of all things. And then go, oh, I can't do that. Okay. Not for money, not for anything. You can't defy the creator without consequences. Okay. You can't do it. So do you see the conflict between God and money? They say, well, wait a minute. If I got married, I'm going to lose my alimony. I'm going to lose my government benefits. I'm going to lose my check. I'm going to lose my health care coverage. Well, if you don't want to get married, then don't live together. Don't live in fornication together. If you don't want to get married, then live on your own without living together and sleeping together and committing fornication. Okay? Sorry. I didn't know I was going to be on a soapbox today. Hi, everybody. Everybody okay? I love you guys. I don't see any questions. Okay. Now, guys, you have to choose. And when the mark comes along, you're going to be in a situation where you have to say, okay, am I going to eat and have a roof over my head? Or am I going to choose God? Okay? It's going to come down to that. At some point, you're going to have to give up everything to choose him. Okay? You're going to have to give up everything to choose him. Are you willing to do that? If you're not, there is no future for you. You have no future. The only way you have a future is with him. He owns the place, okay? He's the one who created us and the planet we're on, and he's coming back to reclaim it. Things are going to be done his way, whether you like it or not. And it'll be a wonderful world with him in charge if you love good instead of evil. But defrauding the government, even though they're not honest, they're corrupt, okay? You're not just stealing from the government, the corrupt government. You're stealing from the American taxpayers, okay? People who pay taxes, who work hard and pay taxes. That's who you're stealing from. And that's one of the reasons why our country's going down so fast. As prosperous as we've always been, we have a society of people who don't want to work now for whatever reason. Plus, not just that, we also have a huge segment of our population who is now, the baby boomers are retiring. They're trying to collect their Social Security benefits, and Social Security's running dry with so many people trying to tap into it. People are living longer than they used to. And they're trying to get people to work longer, but not everybody can do that. So it's a problem. But you ask yourself, if you get any kind of a government check, are you honest? Are you collecting it because you have been 100% honest about your qualifications to draw that money? 2, do you really, you may feel like you really need it, but are you using it because you wouldn't eat otherwise, or are you using it to supplement your income? Times are hard. You don't draw food stamps just to supplement your income. And that happens a lot. That happens a lot out there. People get on the program and then they get a job and they don't get off of it. Be honest with yourself, with God, and with your choice. Are you defying God? Are you breaking God's commands? Do not lie. Are you breaking God's commands to get a buck out of the government? That's going to come back to bite you if you are. And it's going to bite really, really hard. Okay? You have to choose God. Choose to trust in God more than money. He says you cannot serve both. That's the conflict. People get it in their heads that they can do both. You can't. You can't do both. You serve the king or you serve money. Now, you can serve the king while you go to your full-time job. Okay? You can. It's all in your perspective. You are either going to work for some jerk of an employer who makes your life miserable for money, tormenting yourself for money, or you're going on your mission for the king. You serve him with your life, and he's the one that sends you to your job every day. And then you serve him on your job. And when he gives you a situation before you, you know what to do because you serve him and you study and you know how to follow him. And then when you're tested, your honesty will be tested, your credibility is tested, all of these things. Don't turn yourself into a criminal for $20. Okay? Is that what your credibility is worth? If the devil came up and said, hey, I'll give you $20 for your credibility, would you take it? No, you wouldn't. It's the same thing, though. He just doesn't come right out and spit it out that way. Let's see what's going on here. Okay. Now, is everybody all right over here in the chat room? You choose him too, Brian? How you doing? Good to see you, brother. Okay, you have to choose God over money. And that is what the mark is all about. Are you going to choose God and be inconvenienced, to say the least? Or are you going to take the mark just so you can keep your comfy roof over your head and your nice car that you drive and keep your income coming in? Keep control of your digital assets. You'll have to take the mark or walk away from all of your digital assets. Are you prepared to do that for God? If you can't even choose God in something simple, how are you going to do it when it's not so simple? When your life is on the line, how are you going to do it? Are you going to wimp out and go, oh, I guess I have no choice but to take the mark. Ooh, I'll lose my house. I can't feed my kids. Wah, wah, wah. Well, you know what? You're right. It's bad. Okay? It's bad if you can't feed your kids. It's bad if you can't earn a living. It's bad if you can't get a hold of your resources. But God says, don't take it. It's not something where he wants to deprive us of a really cool new form of paying our bills and identifying people and all that. Yeah, the technology is awesome. The problem is that it is in the hands of those who are not trustworthy. It is capable of enslaving us, and that is why God warns us not to take it. They can hijack your mind with this technology. And you don't want to let them do that. You lose your soul because you're assimilated into someone else's control, like a hypnotist. You're under someone else's control. You don't even know what you're doing. It takes control of your mind. So you can't tell yourself, well, I have to feed my kids, so I guess I have to take it so I can feed them. No, that doesn't work. Because if you take it, you're assimilated. Your personality, your soul, who you are individually is gone. You're not going to give a rip about your family. You probably slice their throats yourself. So it doesn't work to sacrifice yourself for them. You're going to have to tough it out one day at a time. You know, some, yes, are going to starve. Some are going to die from being out in the elements because they're homeless. Many are rounded up once they become homeless and they're taken to the FEMA camps. But if you lose your home because you can't work, you got a problem, don't you? You can, and then you're going to be a criminal because Obama says that those who don't want to be identified don't want to because they have something to hide. They're going to automatically brand you a criminal. Did you know that? As these false flags continue to happen and these terror attacks continue to happen on American soil, like what happened in Orlando, people are going to get so fed up with religion that they want to just execute anybody who believes in God. These things are going to get way, way bad. And they're already bad for a whole lot of people. I think I told you, I saw one of my neighbors eating out of a trash can, for heaven's sakes. Okay? These things are upon us. And right now, things are very, very tough on believers. Not so tough on the world yet. Judgment begins at the house of God. This first half is for us, for the believers to be tested. We're all going to be tested like Job. We're going to lose our family, we're going to lose our wealth, and we're going to lose our health at some point. I mean, you kind of do lose your health if you lose your head, don't you? But the word says that the deaths of the saints are precious in the sight of the Lord. The way it's going to happen probably is beheading. And you know what? This sounds crazy, I know, but if you think about it, that is a really good way to die. Because for one, it happens so fast that you never feel a thing. I mean, and then 1 second you're here on earth being tortured, and this next minute you're in heaven with God and you never have a care in the world again. It's fast. I think it's probably pretty painless too, because it happens so fast. It severs your nerves of your body from your brain. So even if your brain stays alive for a few seconds, you can't feel pain because you don't have a body. Okay? I'm thankful because it could be worse. I mean, they're crucifying Christians in the Islamic Republic of the Sudan and in many other places around the world. They're still crucifying believers. I don't know. I think getting your head cut off sounds pretty good compared to being crucified. That's a long, slow, painful, torturous thing. But laying your head on a chopping block is something you can do. You can lay it down and sing Jesus a song, and next thing you know, you're home. So I don't know. I think we get off pretty lucky if we get beheaded, don't you? We've got to obey the word. So if you are experiencing the conflict between God and money, you've got to choose God every single time. You can't be thinking, well, they're going to take my benefits if I am honest with them. Well, yeah, they will, but you're obeying God. Okay? You're obeying God. You need to be way more concerned about that than whether or not your check is coming. Okay? God can do anything he wants to for you. He may not, but he might too, just to show you he's there and he loves you. You have to choose him. And don't be afraid of the things that are coming. I know that's a really tall order, but the Lord told us 365 times, do not fear. We don't have to be afraid. You know what? I'm old, but I can live in a tent if need be. I could do that. I wouldn't like it, but I could do it, and I'd be thankful for it. Okay? And it's probably going to come to that at some point if we live long enough. I don't know. I think it's very possible that the martyrs who are listed in the fifth seal are us. You know, because massive numbers of deaths in the fourth seal. You've got the wheat is being damaged as the tares are being rooted up. So there's, it looks like we may be the ones under the altar at that point, at the fifth seal, saying, "How long, O Lord? Holy and true, dost thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth?" One of my friends, she called me up. She said, "Lisa, we're all going to die." And I said, "I know. We probably are. But it doesn't matter, because whether you live or die, you're going to be back in September 2018 when the Lord returns. You'll be back, okay? You're not going to be gone for long. It's probably only like 5 minutes in heaven. You're going to go, "Wait, I just got here," and it'll be time to come back, okay? I'm trying to keep an eye on this chat room over here in case anybody has a question. What is that? Hi, J.A. Welcome, sweetie. The man eating out of the garbage can could have been a freegan. What's that? I don't know what that is. Could you type it in there and tell me what that is? Freegan? Freegan. Is that like he looked like one of my neighbors. Okay. He had a jogging suit on. He looked like he was jogging through the neighborhood. I mean, this isn't a high dollar neighborhood. It's just a normal neighborhood. But it's pretty normal in my neighborhood. You don't see, a bunch of crime and stuff like that yet. Our conflict is God and money. And that's what we're going to have to choose between. And that's what it's going to ultimately come down to when it's time to have to refuse the mark. It's, God showed us with Esau and Jacob a good picture of the tribulation period. Because Esau came in from the fields. These are sons of Isaac. He came in from the fields. He was so hungry. And his twin brother Jacob, was cooking some soup. And that soup smells so good to him, he said, "I got to have it." And Jacob said, "Take a hike. I just made enough for myself here." Well, he said he was willing to trade his birthright. He said, "Name your price. What do you want for it?" And Jacob said, "I want your birthright." And Esau said, "Okay." But I think Esau never had any intention whatsoever of giving up his birthright for real. Okay, we're going to go take a quick break, and then we'll be back to learn the word in the book of Revelation.